Hi everybody, happy Monday. We are Chris and Steve from EatWalkLearn. We are really glad you're here. Every Monday we drop a video about our nomad life, our traveling life, our vegan life, where we hike, anything we're doing in our full-time traveling world. We are really glad you're here. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we're going to get started. We're going to first tell you that we are still in Dublin, Ireland.
Yay.
We're here for another month or so. So if you're in Dublin, give us a shout out. We'll get together.
You're going to hear seagulls above us. It's a beautiful day here in Dublin.
Yeah, we actually have beautiful sun, so we're very excited to be outside filming this video today. So we are actually going to tell you about the Celtic Camino today. We, as you guys know, if you've been following along, a couple of weeks ago we were hiking the Camino, the Santiago de Compostela Camino in Spain. Here's a video up here that tells you all about everything we did, and we have a blog post. Steve's writing a blog post about that, about how to actually do that and the logistics that we did in order to do that Camino. But this particular video is about the Celtic Camino, and Steve's done a little research. And what's the Celtic Camino?
Yeah, so the Celtic Camino is the leg that we did here is called the Bray Camino, which starts in Bray and comes up the coast into Dublin, is 30 kilometers. And the reason that the different Caminos exist in Ireland and in the British Isles, is in fact in other countries as well, is that the Camino Society, the Camino de Santiago, has certain stipulations about how many kilometers are required in order to receive your official Compostela. And there's the one that we just received for walking the 30 kilometers here in Ireland. A lot of people, that it's very popular that they live in the British Isles, that they'll start like in Ireland, and they'll go to A Coruña, which is a town on the northern coast of Spain.
So they'll walk in Ireland and take a ship over to A Coruña.
Right, exactly. and then they'll walk south, which is about 75 kilometers to Santiago. But the official Camino Society says that's not enough. You need to walk more. So the country of Ireland and other countries have developed these really well-planned routes where you can start there and get official miles in on your Camino, and then finish from A Coruña down to Santiago in order to complete your Camino.
Right, so in 1990, actually, they changed the rules, and that's when the Irish folks said, hey, we do all this walking in Ireland, let's figure out how to get that counted so we don't have to do additional miles or kilometers when we get to Spain. So that's how the Celtic Caminos came about. So there are 9 actual trails, just like in Spain, there's, a dozen or so different official trails for walking the Santiago de Compostela Camino in Spain. The same thing's here in Ireland. There's 9 trails. We'll put a map here, and you can pick any one of them. They range from 25 kilometers to a little over 70 kilometers, and they're all over the country. You can pick any one of them. If you go to the Celtic Camino Society's website, you can download one of their brochures. Here is the brochure for Bray, and in the brochure you will see that there's instructions and so on for actually how to walk the route. The reason why you need the brochure for each place is this isn't exactly like the ones in Spain. They're not as well marked. You don't see a lot of the shells and the yellow arrows. Some places you do. It depends on which Camino you do, but in general you really want to make sure you have your brochure, and there's one for each of the Caminos. So if you go, we have a blog post about all this. I'll put the link below. In there are all the links for where you can get the brochures from and the Celtic Camino Society information as well. Anyway, but before you start the Camino, you have to have your passport. So we actually use our credentials that we had from Spain, because unfortunately you have to get your passport, your Celtic passport, from the St. James Church in Dublin, which is only open Thursday to Thursday to Sunday.
They're not
and
Monday,
we
Tuesday,
wanted
Wednesday.
to do this on Wednesday and Thursday. So we went ahead and we used our own passport, and it was fine. As we walked along, we got it stamped along the way, and this was perfectly fine for the Celtic Camino Society.
But please, if you have a chance, go to St. James Cathedral here in Dublin and talk to the wonderful people there. And they will give you or you can get the passport there. I believe it's actually €10.
Yeah, it's €10, or you can order it online and they'll mail it to you. You can't download it because you have to pay €10 for it. But then once you get your credential or your passport, then you can start the Camino. So once we learned about all these, and by the way, how did we learn about this? We were hiking the Camino in Spain, and what happened? We met an Irish couple.
We met a lovely couple that said that they were from Ireland, and they said, have you done the Kerry Camino? And Chris said, what's the Kerry Camino?
And so they told us about it. The Kerry Camino is it's over near the Ring of Kerry, if you know the Ring of Kerry, and it goes from Tralee to Dingle. So that's what made us start looking at it. And then when we came over, we went to Archaeology Museum here in Dublin, and there's a whole section on the history of the Irish doing this hike to get to Santiago. And they actually had, I'll show you a picture, a shell from the 15th century, just like the shells we got when we were in Santiago. So that was really cool. So that's got us all started, and that's what has got us interested in walking the Celtic Camino. So we picked the Bray Camino. We decided to break the 30 kilometers into 2 days of about 15 kilometers apiece, or about 10 miles each day. And so we got on the DART, which is the local area transit, and took the train down to Bray, which is southeast of Dublin, and started walking there. And it was just absolutely beautiful. We're right along the coast.
The logistics were easy. So we took the train down, we walked halfway, and then to another train stop, and took the train back to our flat in Dublin. And the next day we did that again. We went to our finishing point from our first day and started walking again, and ended up again at St. James Cathedral, where we received our Compostela.
And our halfway point where we did the trains was at Sandy Cove. So as we walked from Bray to Sandy Cove, it was really beautiful. We walked along the coast. We went through some parks. We went by Bono's house from U2. We went by the James Joyce Tower. And it was just really beautiful. It was mostly along the beach. Every once in a while we went in town. And then the second day, it was the same thing. We walked along the Strand and saw the iconic Dublin smoke towers, and came into Irish Town. And then when you get into the city of Dublin, you kind of make your own way to St. James. And so we decided there were a couple places we wanted to go by. We went by Toner's Bar, the famous Toner's Bar, St. Stephen's Square, Grafton Street, and eventually made St. James, where we met the fabulous people there. They stamped our passports. They kind of gave us some history. And also while we were in the office, we got to do something that was really cool. I mean, they gave us our Compostelas, so we got to our Celtic Compostelas. And we also got to fill in, or I decided, Steve didn't want to do this, but I decided you could actually, if you have finished the Camino in Spain, then you can pay €10 to get your name inscribed in the Celtic Camino book. And so here's a picture of it. And I just thought that was it kind of reminded me of the Book of Kells. I mean, obviously not as historic or as glamorous as the Book of Kells, but the same kind of style as with the art and the artwork within the book. All
hand-drawn and hand-painted.
Right. So I'm going to get my name written in there. So anyway, we just really enjoyed extending our Camino experience. We kind of did it backwards. I mean, I guess it's designed to do it in Ireland first, then get to Spain, but who cares? I mean, we did it here. And I think we might even do another, maybe the Boyne Valley Camino, or maybe one of the other ones, just because it's so cool to kind of walk through town and get your stamps and just participate in something that so many other people have done over time. And that's what really has been enjoyable for me.
And then, a little bit again, the connection is, you start at St. James Cathedral where you get your passport, and then that's where you finish as well when you get your Compostela here in Dublin. Well, St. James is the disciple of Jesus that is entombed in the Cathedral de Santiago. In fact, St. James in Spanish is Santiago. And coming up on July 25th is St. James Day. So we're going to be celebrating that here in Dublin. We're not exactly sure what that means.
Maybe we'll just get a pint or something.
But
we know in Spain they'll definitely
St. James, July 25th, and there's just these wonderful connections that we're really enjoying, and really enjoying being part of it.
So if you have any questions, make sure you read. We've got a blog post about the Celtic Camino. We've got a blog post about walking the Camino, that's with all the logistics that Steve figured out. And then we also have this video. So all the three parts work together and give you all the information you need. But if you have ever thought about walking the Camino, or if you're a little bit concerned about how to start or where to go, do you have any questions? Post them below. Have you thought about walking the Celtic Camino first? A lot of Americans have Irish connections. That might be a neat way to do your iteration of the Camino. Come to Ireland, walk the Camino, and then go over to Spain and finish it. Is that something you're thinking about? Let us know, ask us questions, and we'll talk to you next week.